My name is Yasmin Gonzalez. I'm a Jewish student who attends the University of Lincoln. I'm going to be exploring what being Jewish means to several members of the Jewish community in Lincoln.
It does cross my mind if Corbyn gets in, but what I'm going to do.
I've attended the university for a year now, and sadly the only Jewish person I know is my lecturer, Dr. Brian Winston. I'm on my way to pay him a visit to discuss what being Jewish means to him during these current affairs, as well as asking him if there is a Jewish community in Lincoln.
There's not much of a Jewish community. I mean, there are about 40 families who identify, and we're absolutely uncertain about how many Jewish people there might be or might not be.
And do you ever come together?
Yes, well, obviously, we're not big enough to sustain a synagogue. Right. Or anything remotely like a synagogue, right? So we can't afford to pay a rabbi or to pay anybody, really. We rent a room from the Lincolnshire Society of Archaeology and History, which is in Jew's House, which is one of the 3 medieval buildings which have a Jewish connection in the city. So we're very fortunate to do that.
Okay, and are there any students that go, or is it?
Well, there are not very many. I mean, Jodie goes because her mum is, I don't forget what her mum is these days, treasurer or secretary. We don't see many young people, and we certainly don't have a proper relationship with the Jewish students at the university.
So you think it would be a good idea if more Jewish students would come together and almost join the liberal synagogue or join the community and...
Of course.
So if Jeremy Corbyn were to be elected, you as a Jewish man, you don't feel threatened in a way, or...
Bizarre.
No?
It's a bizarre thought. Completely rubbish. But I think the whole business about anti-Semitism in this country is not being tackled at an appropriate level at all.
No. Well, one good thing about that conversation with Brian is that I found out another student who goes to the University of Lincoln is Jewish, and her name is Jodie, so I'm going to message her and see if she knows other Jewish people and see if we can, I don't know, get together, have a little discussion, even make a society, because I think that would be great. After messaging Jodie, she began to tell me that herself and another Jewish student, Rachel, had been thinking of making a Jewish society but hadn't found a third candidate. Luckily for them, I knew just the right person. It was really lovely to meet you guys, finally. I was talking to Brian the other day and he mentioned Jodie.
Yeah, I know Brian. I've known him since I was little. We go to the same school. So.
You live in Lincoln?
Yeah.
And you've lived here your whole life?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're part of...
the liberal Jewish community, synagogue up on Steep Hill.
It's wow, okay. There is at least one other Jewish student who goes here.
I'm really excited to start a community again because I've gone so long without having people my own age in a community. It's just, families and little children, and it's never had a proper, solid group. It's really good.
Yeah, so I'd love to have sort of Jewish friends my own age. Who actually understand the things that we do, because it's all been very confusing to my friends growing up.
And have you ever, I don't know, has anyone ever said anything about you guys being Jewish, or?
I mean, I had the odd thing, I've been Nazi saluted before. It's horrible, and nothing really happened. Just
at school?
At school in front of me, the person just did it, and it was shocking. Nothing really happened. Just put in isolation for maybe an hour or 2.
And that's it?
That's it.
That is literally it. One of the most anti-Semitic things to do to a Jewish person, and they only had isolation for an hour.
Yeah, it's insane, but yeah.
Oh my god.
You have to get used to it, which is the bad part of it.
How upsetting is that you have to get... That is ridiculous. Which I think is why a Jewish society now would just be the perfect thing to do.
I mean, because there's been so much controversy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we just create a safe space, we just want to keep to ourselves.
Yeah. We're literally just like you.
I've spoken to the SU.
Really?
I've got all the forms, you just need to sign your student number. I'll go get them.
Okay, cool. Thanks. So Jodie, who runs this liberal synagogue?
We have our chairman Richard. He runs it. He'd be really good to speak to. About any questions you might have about joining.
After signing the papers, I was overwhelmed with excitement to be starting a Jewish society for the university. But what's a Jewish society without a synagogue to go to? Jodie mentioned the chairman of her liberal synagogue, Richard Dale, so I thought it would be a good idea to discuss the synagogue and liberal community with him, as well as asking if he would appreciate more students joining.
No, that'd be great. I mean, it's something I've always thought would be really nice to be happening. And the difference at the moment is if a student turns up, there's no other young people if they don't come again. But or they do, young people turn up, but not all at the same time.
And how long have you been chairman for?
Well, we formed the community in 1992. I don't know how long I've been chairman, probably 15 years, something like that. A long time, yeah.
And do you enjoy it?
I love it, actually.
Yeah, you do?
I really love it, yeah. I like the people. I haven't been a member of a Jewish community until between Bully, it was Bar Mitzvah, and 1992 I wasn't a member of a Jewish community. But I always felt Jewish. And it's always been an issue for me.
Your last name, Dale, it's not very Jewish.
Well, it's quite Jewish insofar as lots, if not most, English Jews probably have anglicised their names. And so my father was born Cohen, and he changed his name in 1938 to Dale, along with all of his family. So I thought that's a little Jewish corner there.
It's quite funny that you say that, because my grandmother, her parents changed their name from Cohen to Arron, so I'm now Yasmin Arron, so I too used to also be a Cohen.
Oh well, then we're both Cohens then, yeah, that's true.
But it's sad that Jewish people had to do that, had to change their last name in order to fit into society, and I feel like it still happens today.
In some ways it's not such a bad thing that we don't too stress our differences. But it is sad, yes, that there's still strong anti-Semitism, and it's getting stronger at the moment. It does cross my mind if Corbyn gets in, well, what I'm going to do. I'll have to find somewhere, but probably not as well, but probably somewhere.
So you wouldn't live here? You'd think of moving?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sort of, I don't think he will get in, but if he does, I think it'll be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think it'll be uncomfortable. I think a lot of Jews are just thinking along those lines.
Well, that was an interesting conversation with Richard. I did not expect any of that about Labour, how he wants to leave the country if Jeremy Corbyn becomes into power. I mean, that just took me by surprise. Making this society will be a really good thing to do, and for the students to go to the liberal synagogue will be excellent. I mean, Richard is pretty excited about this, for students to come to the synagogue, so I think that'll be pretty good. A few days after talking to Richard, I received an email from the SU agreeing to help create a Jewish society. However, we needed to attend a meeting to be briefed on how to start up a society. Rachel and I attended the meeting, which enabled us to get the training we needed in order to run the Jewish society.
For you guys, so it's just jewish@lincolnsu.com.
Would this be, so the event or the society is now kind of up and running-ish?
Yep, so it's definitely up and running, so you can start completing your training.
So it's set up now, the Jewish society is now set up.
6 months.
I can't believe you've been waiting for 6 months.
Finally
We've only
figured it
known
out.
each other for 2 weeks, and now it's happening. After the meeting, I was beginning to feel part of a Jewish community again. Every Saturday morning, Jewish people attend synagogue for Shabbat. And what better way to engage with the community than bringing the now new Jewish society to Lincoln's liberal service? I came to find out what being Jewish meant to the individual, and ended up being immersed in a community, as well as then creating my own Jewish society.